Some animals feel like they were never meant to exist. They don't look right, they don't act right, and yet they're very real. Here are 10 creatures that defy biology, logic, and sometimes common sense. Let's start with the coconut crab. It's the largest land-dwelling arthropod on Earth, basically a crab the size of a dog. Its claws are strong enough to crack open coconuts and break bones. Locals have reported them climbing trees, stealing shoes, and even raiding campsites for food. Some people call them robber crabs, and honestly, that tracks. They're mostly harmless to humans, but if one ever grabs you, good luck prying it off. This thing is built like a tank and climbs like a spider. It's basically what happens when a crustacean rolls a strength stat of 100. Next, the blanket octopus. At first glance, it just looks like a flowing sheet in the water, until you realize it's actually an octopus, dragging a massive, colorful web behind it like a cape. But here's where it gets wild. Males are 40,000 times smaller than females. That's not a typo. A female can be over 6 feet long, and the male, just an inch. When threatened, it spreads out that web like a flag, making itself look way bigger than it is, and sometimes tearing parts off to confuse predators. And in case that wasn't enough, it can rip the tentacles off a Portuguese man-o-war and use them as weapons. This thing isn't just weird, it's stylish and dangerous. Now here's something you'll probably wish you hadn't seen. The skeleton shrimp. It's not actually a shrimp, more like a ghostly insect made of twigs. You can barely see it, but once you do, you kind of wish you hadn't. These tiny creatures cling to underwater plants and move like something straight out of a horror movie. Their bodies are translucent, their limbs are claw-like, and they're so alien scientists have compared them to stick figures brought to life. But don't let their size fool you. They're aggressive, territorial, and some species even practice chemical warfare to kill rivals. The ocean didn't just give us beauty, it gave us nightmare fuel. This is a Muscovy duck. And no, it's not sick. That's just its face. Instead of smooth feathers, it's got these red, wart-like growths all over its head. It looks like someone halfway through a were-duck transformation. But the weirdness doesn't stop there. Unlike most ducks, Muscovies don't quack. They hiss and make these deep, unsettling breaths, like they're plotting something. They're also aggressive, territorial, and have claws sharp enough to scratch you up if you get too close. And yet, people raise them on farms, because nothing says welcome home like a silent, red-faced duck hissing at your feet. You've probably never heard of the hero shrew, but it might have the toughest spine on Earth. This small, mouse-sized mammal looks harmless, but its backbone is so strong, it can withstand the weight of a full-grown human standing on it. And yes, that's been tested. Its spine has interlocking parts, kind of like armor, and way more vertebrae than it should. Scientists still don't fully understand why it evolved this way. Some think it helps wedge into tight spaces or carry heavy loads, but no one's sure. All we know is, this thing is built like a tank, inside a rat costume, and it breaks every rule of what a small animal should be able to survive. Buried in the sand, invisible, until it strikes. This is the bobbit worm, and it's straight out of a horror movie. It waits under the ocean floor with just its antennae sticking out. When a fish swims by, it explodes upward and snaps it in half with jaws like scissors. It's fast, violent, and completely silent. Some grow up to 10 feet long, but you'd never know they're there until it's too late. And the name? It's just as unsettling. Named after a real-life crime story that's not exactly YouTube-friendly. The bobbit worm is proof that the ocean doesn't care about your peace of mind. This next one is a living horror movie. The Amazonian giant centipede, over a foot long, armored, and fast. It's got dozens of legs, venom-tipped claws, and a diet that includes bats, frogs, and even mice. That's right, it can crawl right up cave walls and snatch a bat mid-flight. Its venom paralyzes prey almost instantly. And the worst part? It doesn't just kill, It wraps itself around its victim and eats it alive. If this thing ever gets wings, we're done. This one looks like it was designed in a fever dream. The flamboyant cuttlefish doesn't swim. It walks across the seafloor, pulsing with wild colors like a living lava lamp. It flashes bright yellows, purples, and reds, like it's showing off. But here's the twist. This flashy little creature is venomous. Scientists believe its toxins are strong enough to rival the blue-ringed octopus, but no one studied it enough to say how dangerous it really is. Basically, it's a psychedelic nightmare, tiny, toxic, and probably best left alone. It looks like an eel, but its mouth says otherwise. This is the sea lamprey, a jawless parasite with a circular mouth full of teeth. And one mission: latch on and drain blood. It swims up behind fish, drills in with its rasping tongue, and feeds off their body fluids like a living leech with fangs. Sometimes the host survives, sometimes it doesn't. And it doesn't just stop at fish. Lampreys have been known to attack humans too. They've existed for over 300 million years with almost no changes. Because apparently, nature thought a mouthful of spiraled nightmares was already perfect. It's not just creepy. It's ancient, effective, and unstoppable. If you're squeamish, you've been warned. The botfly doesn't just lay eggs, it lays them under your skin. These flies target mammals, sometimes humans, and when the eggs hatch, the larvae burrow inside the flesh. They grow by feeding on your tissue while slowly poking their heads out to breathe. You might feel an itch or a bump, but unless you know what to look for, it just gets worse. Eventually, the wriggling larva has to be pulled out, alive. It's one of the few parasites that literally grows inside your body, and people have found them in arms, legs, even eyelids. Nightmare fuel? Absolutely. But to the botfly, it's just home. Nature isn't always majestic. Sometimes, it's terrifying, brilliant, or just plain weird. From venomous cuttlefish to bat-hunting centipedes, Earth still hides creatures that feel more sci-fi than real. If that messed with your brain a little, hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching. There's plenty more nightmare fuel where that came from.